What's going on, YouTube? Happy New Year and a happy 2021 to everybody out there. Today, I just kind of wanted to take some time to have a little bit of a culmination video to just kind of go over the five best, five worst purchases that I made over the last year, and then five regrets that I have for guns that I sold that I probably shouldn't have. So, without any further ado, let's start with our best five purchases of 2020. And it starts with the APC 223. So, if you guys have watched those videos on the review of the APC 223 and on the Shit Hits the Fan video, you'll know that that gun is very close to my heart, and it's close to my bedside because it is definitely my favorite gun in the collection right now. It's the one that I would trust my life to, and it is a gun that obviously it serves a lot of different purposes, but mostly it's just a grab and go gun. It will serve just about every purpose you need it to. It's compact enough, it's lightweight enough, and it's versatile enough to be able to handle just about any task, no matter how small or how large. So the APC 223 has definitely been a gun that I would buy over and over again. It's worth its cost for sure. And it is a gun that I highly recommend that you guys go out there and do some research on. If you've got the coin to fork over for it, do not hesitate. It's a phenomenal short-barreled pistol or rifle. So absolutely go for that one. The Benelli M4. The Benelli M4 obviously is a well-renowned shotgun, and there's very good reason for it. It's a shotgun that you could rely on, and again, you can definitely rest assured that if you're using it for home defense, if you're using it for shit hits the fan or whatever type of scenario you're in, for duty, it is definitely a shotgun that will not fail you. And the piston system that's on it is remarkable. The fact that you can literally cycle through, low brass, birdshot, buckshot, and slugs and everything that you can just throw at it all in one tube and just have it cycle through it all without a hiccup. It's incredible. So when it comes to semi-auto shotguns, obviously there's a lot of hiccups that usually come along with semi-auto shotguns, depending on the load, depending on the gas system, and usually people are a little bit hesitant to rely on a semi-auto shotgun in all scenarios. But with the Benelli M4 and with the amazing gas piston system that they've used in there, it definitely gives you a little bit of peace of mind, knowing that regardless of what type of loads you're putting in there, it's going to be able to eat through it all and do so very reliably and do so with authority. The next gun is the FN 509 Tactical. Again, you guys have seen in a few of the different videos that I've made this year. It is my favorite pistol. It is a perfect war pistol, a pistol that has everything that you could possibly want. It's got all of the accessory features that you could possibly want to throw onto a pistol, whether that be a red dot optic, whether that be lights, lasers, or anything else that you can really think of putting on a pistol. It's got all the real estate for it. It's got a maximum capacity of 24 plus 1, which is excellent. Capacity is your number one asset to have during any type of conflict, and being able to miss and not worry too much because you've got plenty left to spare is definitely something that gives you peace of mind. So the FN 509 Tactical has been just a tack driver. The thing works. It's never malfunctioned on me. It's a soft shooter. It's something where adding that Apex tactical trigger on there has definitely made an already sweet gun even more sweeter. So definitely recommend one of those if you guys have a 509 and you're looking for a trigger upgrade. It's a pretty much a no-brainer. But the FN 509 Tactical has been my favorite pistol, and it, like I said, it has everything you could possibly want on it, and then some, and tons of accessory options for you to go out there and buy for yourself. Next gun is the APC 9K. So that is the military's new SCW, and I could see why. It is a phenomenal PCC. The thing is reliable as hell, much like the APC 223. It's very well built, very well balanced. The ergonomics are incredible. All the controls and functionality is just something you don't see on many subguns nowadays. So for all you're getting for the money, and for a very soft shooting, very accurate little PCC, that thing is something perfect to just throw in a backpack and take with you on a on a hunting trip, or on a camping trip, on a trail, on a hike. Just something to have for safety, and something that you can pretty well just kind of tuck away in a bag or in a backpack, and it's not going to be much to have to carry with you. So it's a good truck gun if that's your thing, but it's definitely a great little sub gun to have, and one that really checks all of the boxes of what you're looking for in a reliable, accurate, and versatile weapon system. So the APC 9K, awesome gun. A little bit pricey, but definitely worth the money. And again, like the APC 223, I'm nothing but impressed with it. Finally, we've got the SIG Virtus in 300 Blackout. So this is the 9-inch pistol variant, and SIG has been one of my favorite brands for a long time, and the Virtus lineup in general, whether that be, the MCX Rattler, the Rattler 5.56, the Rattler 300, the Canebrake, the Snakebite, all the different variants and limited edition models that they've had. But SIG has done a very good job with that whole Virtus lineup, and they have been excellent pistols and rifles. I think that the sweet spot for me, after having gone through a lot of those different models, the sweet spot for me has been that 9-inch 300 Blackout. And I think it based on ballistics and what I've seen so far, just in other reviews and military arms channels especially, kind of sold this to me. But the 9-inch barrel and 300 Blackout round seem to be a really good match together. It's short enough to where it's still pretty compact. It's still light enough, and it's still not going to be something hefty to carry around with you. But it is long enough to give you the ballistics and the velocity that you're looking for in any type of battle, really. So it's going to be good out to distances if you're using supersonic rounds, and it's going to be good in short distances for the same reasons if you're using sonic or supersonic rounds. So the thing is reliable as hell. It's robust. It's heavy duty. You feel like you could abuse the shit out of these guns, and they're just gonna keep rocking. So the Virtus, whether you get the 5.56 model in the 11.5-inch pistol variant, rifle at a full 16-inch or longer DMR. That's the other thing that's pretty cool about the Virtus line, is that it's so versatile. You can literally slap a conversion kit on there and just have a completely different gun within just a matter of minutes. So it's a very awesome platform, and one of my favorite buys for sure of 2020. So let's talk about the 5 worst purchases that I made, starting with the Desert Eagle L5. I had a lot of hope for the thing. I love the way that it looks. I've always been a big fan of Desert Eagles. Unfortunately, like with most Desert Eagles that I've owned, malfunctions up the wazoo. And the other problem was the quality control issues that I saw, just with the slide not having all the proper cuts in it to align from one side of the gun to the other. Just little things like that really irk me. And it's very sad to see from a manufacturer like Magnum Research that's been around long enough to know better. And with the fact that they just can't figure out a way to make these things more reliable out of the box, regardless of the fact that they do test fire all of them before they go to the retailers. It's disappointing. And it's disappointing just about with regardless of what type of actual ammunition you're using. There's not a whole lot of variety when it comes to 50 AE, but anything that I've ever used to break in a new Desert Eagle always has had malfunctions. So it's not the ammunition; it's definitely the gun. And I think that they all break in after a little while. But again, the quality control is definitely something that's very, very disappointing, and something to they left something to be desired for sure. The next gun is the Emperor Arms Duke Silver little. It's not even a shotgun. It's just considered a firearm, but it's a 12 gauge firearm. Very reminiscent of the Shockwave and the TAC 14. And it was a nice enough shotgun for the money. They don't cost an arm and a leg or anything like that, so you can kind of justify that purchase just based on the fact that you didn't have to fork over a lot, and it's a lot of firepower for the money. But again, quality control issues, just marring on some of the pick rail, and just some of the finish was not the cleanest. There were some pits in the wood furniture, and it isn't as cheap as you would expect. I think, right now they're going for about $600 or $700, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you can get a Shockwave for $350, and a Shockwave is going to come out of the box without a single flaw on it. So when you just kind of put that in perspective, I think that value for the money, you're better off going with a Shockwave. A TAC 14, a little bit of a different story because they are very expensive right now, but again, I think that you get what you pay for, so I wouldn't worry too much about paying $600 or $700 for a TAC 14 because I know I'm getting quality. Whereas with the Duke Silver, it was a cool looking gun, but I think if you really look at the finer details, and if you're looking at it with a more close eye, you're going to notice a lot of imperfections that I think that nobody would be very happy about spending $600 or $700. Next one is the Origin 12 semi-auto shotgun. So initially, I love that gun. I love the build quality of it. I think as I was taking it apart a couple times and just kind of looking at how it's engineered and how it cycles, I think that it kind of got me worried a little bit. And hearing all of the horror stories about malfunctions that people have had, over the years with the different full-length models and with the SBS versions of it, I think it was enough to get me to go ahead and make the decision to sell it and to go to a Benelli M4. And like I said, I don't think it was just the stories that I heard, because people have lemons all the time. That's not really an issue. But when I opened it up, I did a video where I was just kind of doing a field strip on it and showing people how to put it all back together. And it's very reminiscent of an AK and the way that it's engineered to run. But the problem was that the bolt itself, it just doesn't seem to ride inside its channels all that smoothly. It almost feels like there's something off with it when the bolt is rotating inside of the carrier. There's just something off when it's riding through those, the only way I can describe it is the little guide channels that are there that are basically guiding it to the barrel to put it in battery. It seems like just before the barrel makes its little twist to ride into those channels, there's just something that doesn't seem very well engineered in that little movement, that little rotation that they've built into it. And I think that if I were a betting person or a betting man, I would definitely think that that's maybe going to have something to do with it. But I digress. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just guessing. but it was enough, like I said, to get me to sell the Origin 12. Next one up was the Rattler 5.56. Now, again, I just told you guys that I love the entire SIG lineup of the MCX line. The 5.56 is an excellent built gun and everything. I just feel like for the reasons that I had purchased it, being really just self-defense, I just feel like that 5.56 caliber out of that short barrel, it's just there were enough people that convinced me that the ballistics are just not going to be up to par with what you're looking for, even with a pistol caliber PCC. You'd be probably better off with a 9mm, maybe even a 22. So that kind of turned me off of it, and I felt like maybe it's not the best option out of that short barrel. The 5.56 out of the 11.5-inch barrel of the SIG Virtus would be a much better option. Obviously, completely different guns. With the Rattler, you're literally looking for something that is really short and compact, that's concealable, and with the 5.56 you get that with the Rattler 5.56, but unfortunately, like I said, I think that ballistics are better off getting the Rattler to 300 blackout for the reasons that I mentioned. So that's why it was added to the list. Other than that, I never had any problems with it. It was just a matter of probably the wrong decision on my end to get the 5.56 version and not the 300. Next up is the SRM 1216. Now, I didn't really have any big qualms with the SRM. I think that the only thing is that they're a lot of money and there's not a lot available for them. So it was hard to even just find the SRM muzzle breacher slash choke for it. And, this is still a gun that they sell to this day. It's still a gun that's in production. So it's hard to understand why they don't have the accessories for it, except for the market not being too good for it. And I think the reason why is, again, because, all things considered, it's pretty much priced right up against the Benelli M4. And when you're making that decision or that comparison, it's very hard to justify the 1216, even though you are getting a lot more capacity. The controls on it and the training that's going to be required to learn those controls under stress are enough to justify somebody leaning more towards the Benelli M4. So I think that just based on the pricing and based on what you get for that money, the SRM 1216 just fell a little bit short in my eyes. Other than that, didn't have any problems with it, and it's not a bad shotgun to get at all, and I definitely think that it can do the job when it's called upon. But I think it's just a matter of, there's more options on the market that for less money or for even money, you're getting a lot more. So that's why that was on the list. Now, with that being said, there are 5 regrets that I've got. In terms of regrets of selling a firearm that I probably should not have sold. The first one is the Honey Badger. I am so pissed at myself for selling the Honey Badger for a lot of different reasons. First of all, I think that the gun is very versatile. It's super lightweight. It's reliable. It's accurate. It's got a beautiful trigger on it right out of the box. It's got a number of upgrades to it over a standard, short barreled AR. So I don't put it in the same category as any type of short AR. I consider it its own type of beast, and it was definitely a really, really great investment had I hung on to it, because right now those $2,500 Honey Badgers are selling for double that, which is kind of ridiculous. I wouldn't spend $5,000 on a Honey Badger, but I would definitely spend $2,500 to $3,000 in a heartbeat again to buy one if that was possible. But if I get another one in the future, you better be damn sure that I'm not gonna be selling that thing. So the next one, and really for a lot of the same reasons, the Tommy built T36C. I love that gun to death. I just love everything about the G36 lineup. I love the design of it. It still looks way ahead of its time. It was a very reliable gun, lightweight gun, just gorgeous all around. And again, another good investment because those things were selling for about $2,800, and now you'll be lucky to get one under $5,000. So a really bad move on my end to get rid of that thing. And if I find another one, I'm damn sure not going to be getting rid of it. The other one was the Zenith Z5 RS, so the MP5 essentially. It's one of the best subguns ever built, one of the smoothest, and you really can't put any other subgun side by side with it and get the same experience shooting it. The MP5 is one of the smoothest shooting guns, period, in any caliber that I've ever shot in my life. It feels like shooting a BB gun. It's ridiculously accurate, ridiculously reliable, and the thing is timeless and it holds value very well. So bad on my end to get rid of it. The next one up is the SMG 45. Very similar reasons to the MP5. Another great PCC. Very reliable, very accurate, despite some of the reports that were out there from others that had reviewed theirs. I had no issues with it at all. It was super accurate, and very manageable in terms of recoil. It was a noticeable difference between that gun and the UMP 45, or basically the Gideon Shadow 45, in terms of its recoil. It felt more like the MP5, believe it or not, than it did like the UMP. So, the engineering that went into trying to mitigate that recoil was incredible. It was a really well built gun, beautiful gun, and one that's probably going to go up in value over the course of the next couple of years. So another one that I regret selling. And finally, the XCRM, a gun that I had custom made in the color combo that I had envisioned, and my stupid ass got rid of it. Now, I only got rid of it to fund another project, but in retrospect, I definitely would have hung on to it. The XCR, just like I said in that video, it's, I think, the best 308 platform there is. I still stand by that. They are stupidly reliable, very easy to take apart, very easy to, they're very modular. So, I mean, they're easy to go to a different caliber. If you wanted to, have conversion kits for it, they're very robust and well built, and the service that you get from Robinson Armament is incredible. I mean, there's nothing bad I could say about that platform, except that my stupid ass sold it, and it's something that I regret deeply. So those are my 15 5 best, 5 worst, and 5 that I definitely regret selling. If you guys have any questions, any comments, anybody wants to bash me for some of these regrets, by the way, I won't take offense to it, because I'm doing some bashing myself. But you guys have a happy new year. I'm going to have a review on the MCX Virtus in the 9-inch 300 blackout version coming up shortly. But outside of that, guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Got a Patreon channel if you guys are interested. That's, the only way to fund this channel, really, because our friends over at YouTube do not make it easy. So please consider joining, and I will catch you guys on the next. Take care, everybody.